Hello, heathens! How you doing this morning? Apparently, the gays are at it again. I know, I don't know why you gays have to always be stealing shit from people, but apparently you guys are just constantly stealing stuff. You got that 5-finger discount going on with all these natural things going on in the world. The homosexual lobby can't come up with anything original. They steal the rainbow, steal marriage, both God created.
Walker Wilderman is the assistant to the president of the American Family Association. The American Family Association is an extremist Christian group working in the United States that employs anti-LGBT sentiments.
I'm not sure if this guy knows, but rainbows are pretty easy to actually explain. You see, when rain falls, the raindrops act kind of like a prism, and when the light enters one side and goes out the other, it splits it into the various colors that make up white light, which, if you didn't know, white light is just a combination of all the colors of the visible spectrum. Now, as far as marriage goes, marriage was created by men, not by God. It was created by men in order for tribes to build stronger bonds between each other. It's also ingrained in this whole monogamous thing that we got going on here. And then, as time progressed on, love didn't even enter into the mix of marriage until much, much later. So, for you to say that God created marriage, I don't know what you mean by that. I really don't. I am totally confounded by the idea that God somehow created marriage. I get that you think that Genesis is real, which is a bag of nuts in its own little right, but the fact that you think God created something that we obviously created, that is obviously a man-made construct, I mean, you really have to go pretty far with the cognitive dissonance on that. We all have our own internal sense of morality. We all pick, or at least the Christians, they pick, what out of the Bible meets their own moral code. But they like to treat it as objective, which is completely disingenuous. Let's say, according to theists, God created everything. I know that. I know that, which kind of really baffles me, the fact that theists, they believe that God created everything, but then it's totally preposterous that, everything came to be out of nothing, when that's exactly what they think. It's just that we seem to disagree with how, how everything came to be out of nothing. I think, as well as a lot of other atheists think, that, everything came to be, naturally. There were natural causes that caused the Big Bang and caused our universe to, expand and develop into what we know now. If they really want to bitch, marriage changed when you could no longer sell your daughter for cattle and a few acres. Well, marriage has been through a lot of changes. That's one of them. Another change was when love was added to the mix. Before that, it was still very much like pairing up for some kind of political power or to unite a couple families or something like that. Like love really wasn't in the mix until I don't know, the 19th century, maybe even later than that. I just want the right to be able to marry anyone that I may fall in love with. Well, yeah, and to be quite honest, when I first came into the scene of the LGBT community, the struggle that they faced, honestly, I was thoroughly confused as to why you couldn't. That didn't make sense to me. Of course, growing up, I've only seen people, that were man and woman getting married, but I didn't see any problem with a man and a man get like that. Thoroughly confused me as to why that couldn't happen. It's not exactly like in Catholic private school they teach you to stone homosexuals. No, they only teach the good parts of the Bible, trust me. I appreciate you guys joining me this morning. Please leave your comments down below with what you think about this guy thinking that marriage was stolen by the gays. I'll see you guys then.
The way that I understand it is that ISIS, or the radical portion of Islam,
sees the outward.
There is no. I'm sorry. Let me just stop you right there. There is no radical portion of Islam. There are people who misinterpret.
The early first century Christians, they really looked to the Old Testament for a lot of prophecy as far as it concerns with Jesus Christ. And from the virgin birth narrative all the way to the miracles that he